Now we got to talk. I'm going to talk about, I sent you the title already. I'm going to talk about law of abundance. But I'm not going to make it so philosophical because I want to give you both the philosophical and the practical part. Remind me to talk about Ken in the practical part, and we'll go from there.
Oh, he's not going to forget.
He's not going to forget, right? If I say talk about Ken and his cat, he really won't forget. He really won't forget. And the law of abundance simply states that there's ample to go around. There's no such thing as lack. Lack can only exist if man creates it. The universe does not have low self-esteem and grew one tree. That didn't happen. The universe didn't get lazy and be like, you know what? Y'all keep burning me down and cutting me up. I'm just not free to grow no more. That's not the way it works, right? There's not. You don't need any depressed rain clouds.
The way that came out.
I'm a rain, but just a little bit. I don't.
I'll give you 2 drops.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it today.
I don't like this neighborhood. I'm a rain all the time. Right?
Water.
Something like that, right? You just when it rains, it super rains. There's a category 5 hurricane out there right now. That's super rain. You understand? Like when, yeah. You understand? When we don't get hair, we get a lot of hair. You understand? Like we get a lot of, and then we don't just lose hair, we lose a lot of hair, right? Every time the universe does something, it does it way too much. You get it? You plant one kernel of corn, and you get back a whole ear of corn from that one seed in multiplication. It just is. Now you go, but no, you don't understand my situation. And right there, you're 100% correct. Because whatever your situation is, man did that to you. Whatever it is, whatever explanation you got, that's no longer the universe. Somebody done put some laws on something, right? Created some policies and procedures that did that to you. You get what I'm saying? Like that ain't got nothing to do with what the universe did. Somebody done put a system together that is oppressing you. This is why I tell people all the time: if you follow rules, you will be oppressed.
That's validate what I was saying earlier about the system.
Yes, it does. It does.
So long as when I was
Marie. No, you good. Finish typing later.
Even as a teenager, I was like, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like a system.
And even like when I was taught by my parents, go work a job 9 to 5, and I was looking at how people would struggle check to check, and I'm like, I don't want to live like this. Like you're telling me this is the way to go, but they don't look happy. They're struggling just to make ends meet. And otherwise, I see,
let's say Bob over here just living his life and barely putting in hours and getting all these luxury things. So this I'll just be honest. It's not fair.
It's the truth. I mean, back in the 80s, bottled water was a luxury.
Bottled water was a luxury back in the 80s. That was, you was one of them bougie folk. You get that water hose. I can't be the only poor person, right? You get the water hose to go out there and drink, and you get that faucet to make some Kool-Aid or some sun tea, depending on how you made yourself, right? Yeah. Depending on how you made it, you understand? Depending on how you made it. But we ain't never had no problem with no tap water. We didn't get that problem until recently. You understand? When you get cut, put some Campo Finique on that thing, and let's go ahead and move. You still use it? Yeah, they still sell it. Get some castor oil, put that in your belly. Or if you like one of my old uncles, you get you a shot of that Thunderbird real quick. They never got sick. You get that bourbon, take you a shot of that, get you a shot of that whiskey, go to work. You'll be just fine. Keep all them colds away.
Yeah, you're going to be up too.
I'll be right.
Castor oil, honey, a little bit of lemon juice, and then some bourbon in it.
Are you talking about hot?
No. It's still thick enough to where you put it on the spoon. You only take a tablespoon of it, like once every 6 months or once a year. That's what we used to do.
Let me tell you about. That sounds good, but I ain't gonna knock that. But we don't do no tablespoon or nothing, and where I came from, we didn't even measure stuff. That's all we did. That's why we was all big boned. You understand? We didn't follow rules like that way. We really had sweet potato pie. Okay, not potatoes that were sweet. No, that Caro syrup went up in there. You know, then the sugar and the brown sugar and then vanilla extract went up, and we had some good times.
Put 2 pints of how much sugar?
Man, that's how we did it. So the same way you used all that abundance of sugar in Kool-Aid is the same way the law of abundance says there's more than enough. Now let me give you a practical example of this, of how to run your business with this. So you heard Ken in the last session say about how he had a multi-million-dollar deal, okay, and he had to pass it up because it was a time sum. Okay? Now, without giving you, I don't know what the deal included. I promise you, ain't a better deal on the table than what I gave Ken.
That's what I
yeah.
And so not to say that's what I thought, right? I thought, Mark gave me good advice, but I already had what I call my gut feeling. And my gut feeling saved my life in the military. It saved me from a lot of things in life that I shouldn't have done. I didn't used to listen to it. I got myself in that situation. Especially with women, long before wives. But anyway, so with that particular deal, I kind of knew what I was going to decide anyways, and I talked to Mark and kind of talked through the numbers and stuff like that. So without talking about, but Antonio gave me something that more aligned with where my wife and I want to take our lives, and when I talk about freedom of time, freedom of money, that's a huge driving factor for us. We don't need Ferraris. Like, we're not into cars like that. We talked about like mansions eventually, and we're like, that's just too much space for the two of us, and then we have to go try to find where the cat is, and that's not our thing. But we are big on like travel, enjoying ourselves, that sort of stuff. So that's where the freedom of time, freedom of money comes in. And so with what Antonio's put me in a position to do, sure, it's going to be hard work, right? Anything worthwhile is hard work. You got to put in the work, and we understand that. But Antonio's deal gets us to the spot of freedom of time and freedom of money. And this other deal, while lucrative, it was just going to be a suck of time, and it was going to be, probably take, let's just say it like it is. The eventual goal, because I was going to get equity in multiple companies, but the eventual goal there was to sell the company. And in my mind, I'm like, well, if I'm going to sell the company, I'm not going to get X percent.
Yeah.
We're just going to because we've got another company my wife and I are going to be founding within the next couple of years that we've always wanted to do. And if we're going to get equity, we're going to take it all ourselves. I'm not going to be sharing nothing, right? And so with your particular deal, it puts us in a position where, because I already know, some people, when they start a business, don't understand that it's going to take probably at least 5 to 10 times what you thought it was going to cost. Having your own company, you guys know, it's going to take a lot more financial. And with this particular type of company that we want to do, I already know from just my research, I had some numbers, and I was like, well, I already know I'm going to have to do 10 times that, because we're going to have multi-billion-dollar companies coming after us immediately. We're probably day one, they're going to be dogging for us. And so getting back to the point, which is the fact that Antonio's deal puts us in a position to do all the things that we want to do and to live the lives that we have chosen for ourselves, and not living the lives that somebody else is choosing. So I want to...
I'm about to break it all down.
Yeah, he's going to break it all down. But just saying it like that, sometimes you have to turn down deals that while they might be lucrative, or they may be ooh, because again, this was a multi-million-dollar... These are established companies I was going to get equity in that are coming up, right? In the space. But for me, I had to take a step back from it and say, okay, well, is this deal part of our 10, 20, 30, 40, 50-year goals? Or is it something that, it maybe, I call it blinking lights. Another hacker I know in the industry, we call it blinking lights, that all these vendors will put in front of you at these security conferences, and you're like, ooh, it's shiny, it's a new thing, ooh, let me spend, $1 million on this product, and at the end of the day, you get your data stolen by a criminal hacker.
It's a lot more viable.
Exactly, yeah.
And so we call it the blinky like effect, right? You go to the conference, and I'll tell you right now, from the conference I went to in Vegas, there were so many blinky lights. And I went to, I think I might have thrown it out, but I actually have a bracelet from one of the after parties that I went to, that I got invited to, and it was blinky lights. And when they put it on me, I was like, oh my God, here it is, here it goes, right? And it was some vendor was sponsoring that party with their blinky lights. But that's the message I want to put across, that you'll get deals in your business, especially as you're coming up and you're getting more stuff coming at you as you get more success. You're going to get all these blinky lights coming at you, and you have to stay focused on your goals, right?
Right.
You have to like the lifestyle that you actually want. Like, don't just jump on something because it's like, ooh, this is a multi-million-dollar deal. Let me go jump on this. Well, no. Take a step back and be like, well, wait a minute here. Does this deal, like, is this going to be, I mentioned the reason I turned it down was a time suck. Mostly the gut feeling, but also the fact I realized it's a big time suck. And especially the aspect of, as I was interacting with the owner of these other companies, I just was like, this is just a lot, like, I'll just say it like this. I didn't have to prove myself to Antonio. He is able to recognize people, and he's successful enough where he recognizes that certain people, they've already got those gifts, and he understands that, and he sees it, and he's able to say, okay, well, let me just let this person go on that thing that they're really gifted at. With this other deal, over a course of a couple of weeks, I always felt like I was interviewing, and I was like, come on, man, like, I hate to brag, but I mean, I'm at the top of the industry, the top, and you're reaching out to me. So like, to put my brand, with, essentially my brand with your stuff.
LeBron James, man.
I'm like, come on. Like, like the certifications I have in cybersecurity, ethical hacking, that organization, that certification body reaches out to me all the time. They don't, the money's not there. So I'm like, yeah, what, right. Come on now, I'm not an employee. But, like, I'm at the, again, I'm a very humble guy. Mark will tell you, I'm one of the most humble people you ever met. But, like, I'm at the top. Why am I taking scraps? Like, honestly, like, I'm not, like, this was going to be a big time suck, and felt like I'm interviewing. That doesn't make any sense. Why am I interviewing for, like, I did it a couple of times, like, I entertained it, and here's some of the numbers, and here's some of the percentages that I think I can do, and then it kept being like an interview, and I'm like, I didn't have to interview with Antonio, and his deal's much better. It puts us in the spot we want to actually be in, and I don't have to. Sure, yeah, I get equity, but I almost think of it like I'm of a different mindset, and I'll get off my soapbox here. But I think this is valuable because I know what's going to be done with this product, and I think it's going to be valuable for people to say. I'm of the mindset of I don't build a business to take on venture capital funding or angel investing, because I feel that that's, in my terminology, slavery, right? Because modern day slavery, right? The poverty, stuff like that, is modern day slavery. And I grew up very, very poor. I mean, I did a presentation recently about that. But for me, I look at venture capital funding as you're still an employee. You are. And sure, you can rationalize it and be like, oh, it's to grow my business or whatever. But you're still an employee. Like the investors tell you what to do. They tell you who to sell to. They tell you what we need to sell more. You're constantly stressing out. You're begging for more money to hire more employees and all this stuff. I'm not doing all that. Kind of along your philosophy you talked about in the previous part of this. I'm going to find people to buy my stuff and take me to that next level. I'm just going to get more customers. I'm not going to sit there and beg for more money. I'm going to be like, okay, well, here's the amount I need to get to. How much more value can I give to get that amount, and from my existing customers or from their friends that they're going to share this to. And so I'm getting all off my soapbox here. I wanted to just say that you're going to have to turn down deals in your business that don't fit your long-term vision, and always stick to your guns. And Chris talks about this a lot, sticking to your guns on things. You've always got to stick to your guns and understand that long-term vision you have. And don't think 2 years out. Don't think 5 years out. Think 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years out, because that's what wealthy people do. Wealthy people think 10, 20, every single thing they buy is like, okay, well, sure, I want this new car, right? I know Antonio wants a Ferrari, but Antonio thinks ahead, and he's like, you know what? Yeah, I could buy it, but I've got a certain level that I want to go to, and if I buy this now, I may not have the capital. He's got a lot of capital, but he's like, maybe that one little deal of capital is that, let's say I spent $200,000 on a Ferrari. That $200,000 he talked about earlier in the previous session, I could have put down on a property, on a multi-level property, multi-tenant property. So you got to think of, you got
2 million customers.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Can you imagine $200,000 dropped in Facebook ads? You're at that point you're retired. Yeah, he's over here like, wait a minute now, maybe Ken just said something I should be dropping. But the biggest message I want to send across is you're going to have to turn down deals that may sound lucrative if you think about them in a certain vibration level, but if you think about them at the vibration level you're at and your long-term goals, you're going to make the right decision. So trust your gut. Number one, trust your gut always. You've already got the answer you need. And if you just listen to your gut, it's going to say, yeah, you shouldn't do this or you should do this. And it's okay to talk to advisors, right? I reached out to Mark. I talked to Mark because I was like, well, my gut's saying this, but let me just get someone else's opinion on this. And Mark, Mark asks a lot of questions. And he
tough questions too.
Oh, he does, yeah, he does, which is good, which is very good. You need someone like that. You don't need some yes person around you. You need somebody to ask you like, well, do you know this? Ask him about this. Ask him about this. He's like, you need to get more information from this person. This doesn't make any sense. You need to, And so I listened to that as well. But I already knew the answer. But sometimes you have to reach out to those advisors that you surrounded yourself with to just get that confirmation from a different angle, right? Because a lot of times that might lead to something you never thought of. So the next deal that comes across, you're like, well, wait a minute. Mark said I need to ask about this too. And then you're like, yeah, that deal was bad too. Let me turn that one down as well. So the whole thing here is, number one, trust your gut. Number two, you're going to have to turn down deals that may sound like they're lucrative, but they're not really lucrative to your long-term goal. So I'll get off my soapbox and get back to you. But I knew that some people, because I know where I'm going to be sharing this too, and I want people to get that even if you're an employee, right, and you want to stay an employee forever, you just want secondary income streams or whatever, you may get an employment offer that's not the right fit for your long-term goals. And if you don't mind, I'll do one other example from a friend's story. A friend works in cybersecurity sales, or he did, and now he owns his own stuff. But he had taken a job, would say it was around $200,000 base or something like that, base salary. Sounds nice, right? A lot of people are like, man, I wish I had that, But right, we're giving you this, but we want $20 million in sales by within this 12-month period.
What?
Yeah, right. So we want $20 million. So we'll give you $200,000, right? And you get some commission structure, or whatever, But you're going to have to produce $20 million in sales for our business.
No.
Exactly, right? And he spent all his free time, and he affected his health and everything like that, right? So if you're an employee out there listening to this, and you're like, yeah, I want to take that next job, just think through it, make sure it fits your long-term goals and everything like that, and don't just take things for the money. I guess that's maybe the third thing. So
I would never take anything for money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's foolish.
Yeah. And so that's my 3 lessons, and then I'm going to shut up for a bit. So number one, trust your gut. Number two, you may have to turn down certain deals depending on it's your business or whatever. And then number 3, don't do it just for the money, because that's going to tie you up in things you don't want to. And I've been there. I've taken jobs for the money, and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I hate this. I hate this that I'm doing, but I tie myself up, in that money or whatever. So those are lessons from my life that I just share from other people's lives. But hopefully that helped someone out there that's going to listen to this.
That's incredible. In fact, I'm glad you said that. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I have something to piggyback on what you said.
Flip it around on here, because what Ken actually did. I don't think I'm on. There we go. I'm unmuted now. What Ken actually did was cover my first 4 laws, and I'm gonna break them all down. So you actually stand this up. All right, go ahead. Let's try to stay on top of that.
All right, so to piggyback on what you were saying, I can definitely relate to that, especially while building my business when it was really small. I didn't really get that traction, but the more that as things picked up and getting more bookings and stuff like that, people were saying, "Oh, try this opportunity, and this like that," and then I just sat back this isn't going to actually help build my business. It's actually building yours, and it's taking out time that I need to put in my own business to build it. So when I started seeing it, I was like, nah, I'm good. Or nah, I'm good. It looks good. I'm pretty sure it does pay, but it doesn't sit for my vision. Now, one thing that I'm learning even now is that as you build people around you with your team and much more, is you got to make sure that their ideas and much more still ties into your vision. Because one thing that I'm learning is as you bring more people to the table, their ideas and things like that are their ideas for what they probably want for their own things. But if it doesn't really tie into your business, I'm learning even more that sometimes you got to put a halt to it, because if you don't, it goes against what your actual original vision of your business is now going into what they thought it was. Nah, that's just what I'm.
So I got all right. So you forced me to say a few things on that.
Remind me to bring up your friend with the $200,000 deal, because it ties in the law of abundance number one. A couple of things here. What you were just saying. Let's just start at the worst of it first. If you get distracted, an old man once taught me I learned a lot of lessons in dominoes. For one, all money ain't good money. Yeah, that's the first one. And that same domino game, or at least the same domino person, also taught me to stop wasting my energy. Save yourself from energy leaks is what he called it. He said, now this is a older gentleman, football guy, keeps it real, cusses, you know what I'm saying? His example was not a Christian example, but it was fantastic, okay? He said, see, you out here with your little young attitude and your young ambition, you ain't nothing but a steaming pile of doo-doo. He said the other word, you know what I'm saying? And people like me will put you in my hand and squeeze it. Now, I got you, but you leaking everywhere now. See, now you came out. So now I got to wipe you off and squeeze you again, you keep leaking. That's what you do. You just leak everywhere. You're doing too much. Guard yourself from energy leaks. Or you're just going to keep on being a pile of doo-doo, leaking everywhere. A crazy example. But it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Until I'm honed, I can't stop being a pile of doo-doo until I get my stuff together, right? That's one thing he was trying to get across me. And then stop leaking energy everywhere. Man, the greatest trick of poverty is to show you money on your way to your dreams. Greatest trick of poverty is to show you money on the way to your dreams, man. It's so good, so crafty with that. You're on your way to $2 million. Poverty be like, hey, 200,000. You gonna take this right here, and you go take that, and now instead of being in a palace, you're in Potiphar's house for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. Now, I knew my deal with Ken was fantastic. I didn't have to think about this, because for one, I wouldn't have offered a deal to someone that's number one in cybersecurity. At the time, he had 2 million people in his system, right? Was it 2 million time? I know you're going for 5.
About 1. I think when we first started chatting on LinkedIn, it was right around 1, and I did that. I went from about let's say 10,000 over the course of last year, and then starting about when I put that hacking course up in October, I hit the million in November, mid-November.
Right. When I saw it had 1 million in there somewhere, you know what I'm saying? I knew this. So I'm saying cybersecurity, man, top of his field. I'm going to give him top of the field offer. This is what you do. This doesn't make sense to anything else. But this is law. So let's break down law of abundance real quick. It's ample for everybody, okay? Ample for everybody. You get this? Well, here's the deal I structured for him without the details. I said, hey, man, here's a fair pay, what I would like to do for you. I really can't do much more than that, fair pay, okay? So here's the numbers, what we're calling our numbers. This makes sense. This is what I'm going to do with the rest of it. Boom. I said, cool. I said, but I'm going to give you pay raises like every day. Oh, you got my attention. I no cap on these pay raises either. Am I lying? So he has the option to get pay raises every day with no cap on these pay raises, and it takes no more energy than the first time that he did it the first time. Am I?
Yeah.
But so to get this stuff doesn't take. Once it starts, the energy is irrelevant. It is more. If anything, it'll be more on my end than he is. Right. I just have to keep being the man, right, and make sure the products are like what this is going to be, et cetera, right? Now, and I joked with him. I said, "You don't mind money, huh?" All right. I don't know what he said, but I forget what his response was. And I said, "Well, you do realize you got no cap on you whatsoever. I don't care how much money you make. I hope you make a couple of $1 million ASAP. You're not gonna bother me." Because if you made it, I made it. I'm signing your checks. That's what I told him, right? So would you like the money? Then, of course, he said yes. And I said, now let's take care of your wife. Am I lying? I ain't playing. Yeah. Then I said, let's take care of your wife. We structure a deal. And she will never, more than likely, if she... Well, when them checks be rolling in, she'll be like, move. Tell me how to do this, right? That's a whole different story, right? But she doesn't have to work anything, right? She doesn't have to do anything. That's not the point. The point is, I said, let's create you 2 streams of income, okay? Now, she fulfill all the legal requirements. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's like, don't it can't be just exchanging money, right? But what he's doing, she doesn't have to do. She has a different job function. So I said, let's do that. So now you got 2. Then I said, now how much money you need to walk away from your job? All right. He told me, I said, all right, let's build a plan for that. And we sat down. We built that plan. Let's do this here. All right. I think our goal is is it 6 months? We trying to get you out in 6 months or less?
Less
Less than 6 months. So hopefully by the end of this year, he's gone. Right. Actually, we could probably do it by September, but we'll just, We'll just keep that conversation for later. So I took care of him, took care of his wife, asked him what he needs. Now, I'm taking care of the house. You know what I'm saying? And I say, by the way, no cap on none of this stuff. No cap on none of this stuff. Then, so I tested it. I tested him, but it really wasn't tested him. But I made him do something at first with no marketing budget. And he's like, come on, you know what? I was like, nah, I don't like it. I know. That's what I thought. I want all organic. I want to see what we're doing. Like, I don't want my numbers to lie to me. I want to see what's going on. Facts. Because I understood that when it's time to manipulate the money, or not the money, manipulate the numbers with money, I wanted to know what we're actually doing, because if something is working and you don't know what's working, then you can't fix it when it breaks.
Like throwing, you're not aiming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I mean, we work hard. That's probably some of the hardest work we've ever done, and it's probably the hardest work we will do, because after that, I'm throwing money at it now, right? Like, I'm throwing money at it now, but that was really, really hard. That was difficult. I made it way too hard, but I needed it to be that way. Took care of all that, and then I said, still, man, no caps. In fact, I keep forgetting how much I tell him. He remembers stuff. He remembers. I got it written down, but he remembers what it is. Yeah. And so every time I forget, and then I got it structured to where, as the company grows, his base pay grows on top of the pay raises. So his pay raises grow regardless of what happens. That is irrelevant. If it stays, it doesn't matter, right? He can just do some math in his head, say I want this much, and then on base level, lowest product there is, period, he can change his lifestyle at the very minimum. I hope y'all learning. Are y'all learning? Because I'm okay. Now, if we just grow, then he's going to exponentially grow in base pay, and the same, I don't care about your pay raises, is going to apply to that too. You know what I'm saying? Now, I call that abundance. I don't know about y'all. I would like to think that was a pretty abundant offer. Yes? Outstanding. Okay. Which made him say, nah, multi-million-dollar, I appreciate you, though. But over here, ain't no cap on my stuff. Okay? Yeah. $10 million. Well, he can try, if he wants to be a billionaire, that's no sweat off my back, because I write his checks. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's Shaq. I'm the owner writing Shaq's checks. Do you understand that? This bothers me not. Yeah. Like he's gonna be mad at me for having $1 billion. Stupid billion. Yeah. Stupid billion, right? Exactly. Now, here's what I'm teaching though. I structured my deal for him in the law of abundance. I fundamentally understood no matter what I give him, never takes from me. It can't, because there's more out here for everybody. That was the point of that. It's too much out here for me to try to cap his salary. Do you get what I'm saying? When you structure your deals that way, not only does everybody win, but you win more. The more you give, the more you get. Y'all feel what I'm saying? With that, I can't practically give you better law of abundance than what I just did. Now, let's talk about the opposite of law of abundance. Let's go to this $20,000 deal. Excuse me. $200,000 salary on $20 million in revenue. Because when he said that, I was so impressed with the owners. Because my capitalistic side came out. I was so impressed, y'all. When he said that, Law, I was so impressed. I said, whoa. That was awesome. Let me tell you how this deal is really structured. That's okay. The deal is structured to pay the... Well, who caught it? Because I caught it. Yeah. I'm going to give you $200,000. Oh, yeah. I'm going to need $20 million back. That's 1%.
Yeah, that's why I got your salary for 100 years.
Oh, my God. That was so good. Yeah, you're right. I got your salary for 100. I'm going to pay you a good salary. So you go on out there and brag. Go on out there and brag.
To kind of add on to it, it's like, you made this amount of awesome meeting. I'm only getting $200,000. We got to come back to another game.
Now, yeah, absolutely, right? Absolutely, that was fantastic. I'm going to give you a penny. And I need you to give me back 99 cents. And if you don't, I'm taking away from this penny. You got performance meters, and I'm a scratch from this penny. And my capitalistic brain went, wow, what a deal. Right? Yeah, go ahead.
We had a constriction, 12 months. So he had to meet the requirements, or else. I don't know what else was in the deal, but the whole deal just sounded way off. It's like, okay, you making this amount, I'm only getting $200,000, and now I got a time period. So now I'm forced to meet this requirement and performance, and if I don't, I'm losing big time. No.
Yeah, we're gonna fire you, even though you hit 10 million.
And then then they still keep whatever you made. Nah. Yeah, that was.
Well, that's a common thing, especially in that particular industry. For you get X salary, and you're not only making. Let's say you work in sales, and you're selling this amount of 20 million, whatever. But just think about if you're not in sales, but you're contributing and you're helping build all these different revenue streams for that employer, and you getting that measly salary, and then you know what? Times are tough. We gotta lay you off. So hopefully you got a 401k though. You're gonna be fine. It's okay.
Your family will be okay.
You're gonna be fine. So yeah, just putting it in context, like as business owners, we look at that like if someone if Antonio came to me with that deal, I'd be like, we're gonna stay friends. But
no.
That's a no. That's a no. It's too low. It only benefits you really, and not the other person. And that's why Antonio, going back to the deal he talked about, he's benefiting me too. And then he threw the icing on the cake, right? Hey, let's make sure your wife's taken care of, because that's where a lot of, I think, employers go wrong, right? It's just, okay, you, right? Chris, I'm going to give you this salary. Yeah. They don't talk about showing like, hey, I care about your wife. And exactly, right? They don't do the whole package. And I think that's the difference between someone that actually has made it. Because there's a lot of people, I call them stock millionaires, for lack of better terms. Yeah. Stock millionaires. So they get equity in one of these companies, they get venture capital funding, then we sold the company, look at us, yay. But they can't sell that stock, right? Or they can sell a certain amount, but it's got to be voted on by the board and other things. Mm-hmm. Sorry, man, I'm a cash guy. I'm cash, baby. So Antonio's deal is more lucrative for me, because it's not like, hey, I got to get equity in something and hope for the best. Hope you sell this thing and that somebody gives you the right valuation and all these factors. It's, if you put in the work, you're gonna get paid. Period. That was an easy yes. Easy yes. Period. Yeah.
And all we got to do is put in the work once. Yeah. And then let the system take over.
Actually, he mentioned it. And it took less time to build the funnel that I just did, the one I showed you for. Took less time to do that than it took to do that other one. Yep. And I know that this funnel is gonna. I'm so proud. I showed my wife. Look at this.
You were really happy then.
Yeah. And she's not into the funnel stuff at all. She's like, that's your thing. I'm just a cheerleader. But I was like, I explained. I was like, look, this is the number. I'm not gonna give away details, but this is why I did this way. And she's like, oh, yeah. So anyway,
there you go. And the product is fire. I think I got it from this end. Yeah. The product is fire, right? Yes. It is fire. Now, so you get this abundance. Right? I showed you the 1% guy, and then what I did for Ken. Look, all he gonna do. You see how excited he is? You can't stop talking, right? He's just excited. He's staffed. And you do it real quick, Matthew. No, go ahead.
You did it through a vessel that I enjoy. I love phones. I love with kind of the hacker mindset, right? You like to figure out how things work
instead of forcing you to do something else.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. He found something that I'm passionate about. I've talked about. My wife will tell you. She's gonna tell you the stories eventually. She's heard about funnels for years. But I'm passionate about that, right? I enjoy it. I enjoy kind of the psychology behind it of getting people to, the trigger words and we call it power words, power phrases, to get them to be like, let me pull out my credit card and buy whatever this thing is. And I love that stuff. And so, yeah, you've given me that. I don't know how much research Antonio was doing behind the scenes.
I did plenty on it.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh, yeah.
He's like that, right? He's a strategist. And so, yeah, he was like, all right, these are all the things that I see him probably posting about. And, okay, that's the pitch.
I went and looked at your classes and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went to every class, everything, see what all these people. I wasn't trying to verify how many people you had. That was irrelevant to me. It was just more. Let me see. Yeah, how he's engaging. I wanted to. Yeah, I definitely want to see what people say, because that's the only thing that really matters, what they say about you, right? What the market says about you, not what the market won't lie. Yeah. No, not the market, but the individual customer. The individual customer is a liar, but the market, the market is an angel. No, keep it on the whole time for me. Yeah, keep that on for me the whole time. No, the camera. Yeah. Keep that on, because you figured out, you solved the problem, and the more you got that, the less I got to stop doing this and run that. Okay, good, outstanding. We got multiple cameras. That one, please. Thank you. Outstanding. Thank you very much. Now just keep it on him, and then move it when ready. Okay, when Grace get here, then she can man that camera. Outstanding.